We know that the letters are controlled by the spirits of SHYKYN, in which the Rabbi Ginsburg said that he calls her Hawa. Now, we know that this is dealing with this, and there's a harmony that connects to us. And in this harmony that connects to us, we begin to understand the gates of light. And everyone that deals with the gates of light know that there's certain structures here. We won't get into reordering what we've already studied and done, but I want to connect to where we are. Now, here is where I redone a chart that was there and how things were broken down. Now, the food in itself, we know that that's the Allah, and that's the man walking out. The world in itself, we're dealing with the one that's coming through that force. And then the wheel of fortune, we know that that wheel of fortune is the one not with fortune, but deals with our wheel. And then the tower, we know that that structure deals with the structure of being within the strength. The so-called the twins or whatever, we know that that is something that deals with us, or the sun. And the sun represents the ayan and the power. The empress, we know that that is something that deals with where we are as far as mankind, or the female, or the gatekeeper. The magician is one who is also the keeper. And then the high priestess is where we connect to one that deals with the structure such as SHYKYN and representation. So we know that these things are a factor. So we have this thing because she controls all the letters. And in this structure, we begin to take on these replications of what these seven forces are. And we know that by a study that zero was not part of the Jewish matter. So we have something here that's even more. And dealing with zero, we begin to understand how the factors are. So tell me, what are the birthstones?
Those ancient letters?
Yes, but what are the birthstones?
The stones you just go get. The stones you just get.
Yes. The birthstones are the onyx, the pearl, the sapphire, the garnet, the agate, the shell sea stone, tourmaline, obsidian, and spinel. You're like, wait a minute, that's more than seven. Okay, when you're dealing with the seven here, then you're dealing with the two that are called what? They call them nodes, right? But what they call them in the Bible? Okay, in the Bible, who's that? There it is, Urim and the Thummim. Those are the two. Now, what happens is that, let me get a squeeze here first. This study that I did, it breaks down the frequencies of the body and how you have an auric field. And this is in the commonality, but what the information is the scientific information. Each individual has a spectrum of color, and each one of these are in a reference even into your name and as also to your aspect of character as well as your spirituality. But each one is correlated by the month or by the new moon. And even one of the structures, they have a vibrations. And when you are born, you're born with a signature vibration. In the signature vibration, what you're trying to do is balance it and collectively have all these things being within a wayward. The thing is, there are two other ones that allow you to connect. And what they've done, as I've shown you in this egg-shaped or eye-shaped man, female type individual, there were two. He represents the two negative areas of existence in the astrological or the demonic world. And what happened is on his right shoulder was the long-haired female, and on the left shoulder was the short-haired female. And they were basically telling them to do A, B, or C, whatever, okay, lead them there. Now, the structure is that these elements have a certain vibration. When you are born, you're born with these vibrations. These vibrations are a matter of hertz, and these hertz are coming into the stones or from the stones. and that's on the lattice. These vibrations also match in where you are and what you do. So what happens is that when you're dealing with these things, these stones do have a connection. And in these connections, that when they're done, they deal with, how can I say it? The Urim and the Thummim. See, the ancients have a chart containing the 7 planets in the system, along with the 2 lights, were commonly known as Urim and Thummim, or Urim and Thummim. You should wear the gemstone, which give positive vibration to you. This way you receive positive vibration from the suitable so-called planets. These things that connect to you that deal with the astrological reason, they are negative energies that bring you there. When you're wearing the wrong vibrational stone, it can vex you. Now, when I did the study of the letters and I found out which one of these letters are, I know that each one of these letters have a frequency. And they're getting kind of academia and studious on that factor, and it could probably bore someone to death. But at the same time, I have to look at where things are in the English and break it down with the vibrations. And dealing with the vibrations, that's why music has a certain tone and quality. But in the ancients, there was a different vibration. And in the ancient sounds, this is why they say make a joyful noise. This noise or whatever is there. We know that white does not have that thing. That's why they call it white noise. And the thing is that black has a sound that absorbs and deals with energies and this great, I don't know what you would call it, lattice or latical auric field that brings a power to an individual when it hears it, or when the individual hears this. Now, we know that the stones from our structure is also where we're dealing with the birth chart. And in the birth chart, we know that these things are here. And I did this one without the letters because I wanted to show you how these things are and in the different colors of the divine birth chart wheel. Now, what happens is we know that this blue here is the divine waters and the spectrum of level 0, where we have the 13 from that connected. Now, we also discovered that the so-called structure and the birthstones that were given to us were there to vex us. So we know that these stones here are the ones that we should be looking for. Now, the power stones are the ones that also help you. And each individual can have, where you have your birthstone as your signature stone, and you have 2 grounding stones. And this is why the so-called priest or high priest worn what they had on the left and right shoulder. What did they wear? What was the black stone that they wore? Does anybody remember? Well, it had to be one of these stones here. So we know it wasn't obsidian. We know it wasn't the black pearl. We know it wasn't the black sapphires. We know it wasn't the shell sea stone. We know it wasn't the spinel. We know it wasn't the tourmaline. We kind of know it wasn't the agate. So what did they wear? They wanted the onyx. Because the onyx was considered to be a grounding stone. It gave them a ground and power. Yes?
And you said it was one of those you won't be able to find?
I said it'd be hard for you to find. The shell sea stone is a hard one to find. And the black pearl, you can probably find a cultured black pearl, but not in that formation that you have here. Now, the polished stones themselves, they're good to have as a secondary. And the thing is that the stones that I wear, and even these little round things, these are stones, all right? And I have each one of these in the 7. And this is 7, which is my 22 on my left, my 22 on my right, with my things that click. And when they make this noise, this is the thing that brings on my spirit and the bounce. And this is what I do when I do my thing. So I know this would happen. I know in Jamaica and certain other places they do the snapping of their fingers, you know. But I don't need to do that. The stones do what I need to have done. And then when I have this neck brace or necklace, whatever, choker, I don't like to use that word. I don't wear nothing that chokes me. So, but that's what that is, and these are the stones. But I also